In the previous episode, part 3 of my 14-day passage from Mauritius to South Africa, I crossed much of the Mozambique Channel. And in this final part 4, I negotiate a final tricky weather system to arrive in Richards Bay.
This is what I woke up to. Sunday, November the 10th, penultimate day or morning of this passage to Richards Bay. Nice big thunderstorm. Lots of lightning, thunder, some rain. We're getting nicely salt washed here. We're still headed slightly southwest, looking for the southwesterly wind to turn northwest to Richards Bay, which is 120 miles away now. So we should be there this time tomorrow morning, which would be perfect. It's about 7 a.m. right now. Anyway, yeah, the wind vane's steering away nicely. Everything's getting soaked on deck. That's the way it should be. Get all the salt off her. It's nice. Oh, it's 2 hours later on Sunday morning, and weirdest thing just happened. Well, in the last hour or so, I went to sleep at the end of the thunderstorm. Woke up 2 hours later, and Sea Change had decided on her own we're going straight to Richards Bay. None of this sailing southwest to meet up with the southwest front, etc. Well, in reality, the wind had turned back to the north, and the wind vane steered us close reach straight at Richards Bay. It is now 115 miles away. We're doing 6 knots. It's there tomorrow morning, and there's the remains of the thunderstorm. We have blue sky. Wow.
We still had the triple reef main up, but noticed that the leech was flapping rather badly. And this new, stronger northerly after the thunderstorm now had us charging along under blue skies.
And on top of all of that, I'm pretty much out of regular food. I have lots of canned food, of course. But on board, 2 flying fish of decent size. I'll make a flying fish paella for dinner for tonight. Alright, this is it. We are headed to Richards Bay, finally. Directly.
The chart shows the abrupt change of course from southwest to west-northwest, and the flying fish paella was amazingly still with onions and tomato added 2 weeks into this passage.
I have always had a bit of a flap on the leech here when beating upwind, and I always assumed there was nothing I could do about it because the third reef was added after the original reefs. But I'm usually on the other tack, and lo and behold, on this tack I realise there is a leech line teeth, properly made for tensioning that. So now, perfect. No flapping of the leech. Yes! This is so bizarre. I'm so used to trade wind sailing, not used to everything changing by minute. I mean, look at this. It's suddenly lumpy, no wind. We were charging along west-northwest straight towards Richards Bay, doing 5 to 6 knots for 2 hours. Now it's 10:30, and suddenly the wind dies. We're left with this washing machine tumbling, disorganized wave set, and the wind has gone all the way around, backed up to the west, and we're sailing south. What? I mean, give me a break. We're sailing south. Now the wind's coming directly from the west, so we can't sail towards Richards Bay. So what do? I don't know. I guess wait and see if it changes yet again. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I think we're in a little center of a low pressure which gave us that north wind, but now I'm anticipating today a major switch to a southwesterly wind, and I think this layer of cumulus clouds along the southern horizon here, just like 3 days ago, is the harbinger of the southwesterly wind. So we've got the sea change all ready to go to tack to port to engage that when it happens. But meanwhile, we'll just motor southwest as best we can to meet it. I don't want to, I'm tired of lolling around in this chaotic sea.
This is my final lunch, amazingly still with lettuce on my sandwich.
Well, it only took an hour of motoring to get through that miserable patch, but more likely the approach of the southwesterly front. And here it is. We're blasting along. I'm about to turn the engine off, don't need it anymore. But look at this. The autopilot ram got tossed off the tiller and sea change is sailing herself. Very happy. The wind vane's not connected. There's nothing on the cleat here. Here's the line from the wind vane. Just steering herself. She'll do this forever on the close reach, but we actually want to bear off, so engage the wind pilot and turn off the motor and head to Richards Bay. Hopefully this is the last weather system for this passage. Well, Sunday, November the 10th, it's about midnight. This is my last night of this passage and I just cannot shake the ships. Got one just went in front of me and now I got one just going to go behind me. I've had to call both of them and make sure they know where I am and can see me. Hopefully these are the last ones. Well, this passage is not done with me yet. I'm 40 miles from Richards Bay. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. I was running broad reach. Luckily, quadruple reefed main and about a quarter of the jib, and steering with the autopilot because we were going through a squall, overpowered and everything. Course 300 degrees. I went back to sleep and I woke up. It was crazy. The wind was howling. The boat was heeling the wrong direction, heeling to port. And I get up on deck and pouring rain and the sails are completely back. The boat is over on its side. We managed to release the main slowly across, get the jib across. And now we're hauling the mail straight towards Richards Bay and doing 5-6 knots. Autopilot survived, which is amazing. And look at this damned AIS screen. There's ships everywhere. But luckily, I'm dodging all of them just by chance. Holy moly, what a passage. Well, now it's 4 a.m. and we're motor sailing. Southwesterly has come back, but it's gentle. I've got a tear in the main, so I can't use the main. I only use half the jib because it's got a tear in the top of it. Anyway, so we're 36 miles out, and I look at the AIS screen and there are ships everywhere. And then I realized this is Richards Bay. These ships are anchored or inside the harbor. That's why they got X's in them. They don't pose a threat. Oh man. Now it's 5:30. We are motoring again. I've just refilled the oil using oil from the bilge. And you see Richards Bay on the left there with all the ships, and it's amazing how many other ships are still around us. The one that just went past is called Yassa Eagle. Had to talk to him a little bit. Anyway, it looks clear. Looks like we'll get in without any more issues, but we'll see. Got 6 hours to go. Right, Monday the 11th November, and We're finally close to Richards Bay, but my goodness, what a complicated rough night that was. We had wind shifts of 180 degrees, we had incredibly strong winds, tore the mainsail a little bit so I can't use it. You see how rough it was, our auxiliary panel on the left, on the starboard got knocked down either by a wave or the wind, I'm not sure. Had to replenish the oil in the engine because we had to motor quite a long time with no wind in these crazy sloppy seas. Now finally the forecast southwest strong wind has come through. So with half the jib and the storm sail we are doing 6 to 7 and we're only 18 miles to go. Yay! Yay! And it's raining of course. What else?
Just paper control, just paper control, 1会 calling, 1会 calling.
It's crazy here this morning. There's one motorboat ship after another trying to get into or out of the port, and half the time the port control doesn't answer. You don't know what the hell's going on. This is crazy. And I'm arriving at Richards Bay and I have a dolphin. Well, I had a dolphin. Where'd you go, dude? Not sure where that dolphin went to. It's jumping nicely. Anyway, that's Richards Bay ahead. Going in the channel. Big industrial harbour. There's a nice marina on the side of it. Lots of friends here. Up there's the dolphin. And now in front. Just one dolphin. That's kind of unusual. Let's see if we can get it actually to show itself. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, maybe on the other side now. I'm not going to go up to the bow. It's still pretty rough around here and I'm supposed to be paying attention. Going in the channel here, nobody else coming in, nobody else going out. I have authority from port control to enter, so all good. Alright, we're entering the harbour at Richards Bay. Here's the South Breakwater on this side. And a nice long channel of red and green buoys here, very straightforward. I'm sure it's well marked at night. And I've been talking to port control, which I think is this roundish building with big windows up on the hill here. But who knows, maybe it's some rich dude's mansion. Anyway, yeah, what a huge relief to make it in here. I still have the jib up just in case the engine quits on me. I don't think that's going to happen at this point. I put a lot of oil in it this morning when I had to do some motoring. This is cool. The pier here, the breakwater, is built with the dolluses they were designed by a guy in East London, interlocking massive concrete structures. They use them in all the harbours in South Africa now, some other places in the world as well. I've been here before, of course, a couple of times, but from the other side, looking from the land. Never done it this way. Oh, there's a big swell. We're going to be done with those in just a couple of minutes. It's going to be nice to be quiet and tranquil, finally. Okay. Got a red light here for me, but they gave me permission to come in, so I'm coming in. Alright, I'm in the main channel, and this is the Zululand Yacht Club over here on the right, down this little cut here. That's where I'll go this afternoon once I'm checked in. But to check in, I have to go to the next little entrance over here, the small craft harbour. And ahead, you can see the big industrial harbour and all the huge big bulk carriers getting filled up with raw materials to take to the Far East. There's scores of ships, empty ships, anchored off the harbour, waiting to come in.
I was happy to finally arrive safely in my home country and glad not to have ended up like this poor boat at the quarantine dock. Checking in was delayed by bureaucratic problems, but I eventually made it around to the Zululand Yacht Club to find several friends there, including Per on Link 1, and made the acquaintance of the neighboring Swedish boat Fragancia, as well as Russ on Restless Rusty. And directly opposite our berth were Christoph on Tin Lizzie, Xavier on Kanoa, who I first met in Fiji, and a well-known sailor I'd followed on YouTube for several years, Barry on White Shadow, out of England. I had finally caught up with him.
Oh, it's Tuesday, the, 12th of November. This is the Zululand Yacht Club. They've got A, B, C, D, E, maybe F piers with several slips on each of them. And then very nice grounds here, all looked after, and a restaurant and sort of outdoor sort of braai place here, cafe type thing. And then on this side is a little side bit to the river where they've got a bunch of moorings and people have their boats. You can actually anchor in the middle here, and I might end up having to do that because it caused a bit of a problem here coming in and they may kick me out, but we'll see. And a bunch of boats here just tied up to some sort of big, I don't know what it is, some sort of big barrier across about half of the river. And then the other side here is all private, I guess, condos and so on with their own individual slips. Yeah, a very peaceful, nice morning today. The boatyard here has a resident population of vervet monkeys, and they come and raid the trash, picking up bits of food from it. This one on the left here has a little baby. You can see its tail hanging around the side. These guys are cleaning up nicely in amongst all the work on all the boats, including all the derelict boats. There are lots of derelict boats here, including this poor yellow one over there. Oy, oy, oy.
A particular feature of this yacht club were all the Waram catamarans, which were a self-built craze decades ago and which still have a loyal following around the world, including another successful English YouTuber called Wildlings, fixing one up in Holland. And at the other end of the catamaran spectrum, there were these two big Outramers, Inky Blue and Akaroa, who I met in Cocos.
Oh, it's Wednesday the 13th November, and we have a really strong southwesterly come through here, so nobody's going sailing. It would be perfect for kiting, but launching at this beach on my own is a little too risky.
Instead, I retreated to nearby Pelican Island, between the beach and the yacht club, for a reasonably enjoyable, if rather hectic, kiting session.
I launched here in this corner, and there's the main channel where I sailed in the other day. But man, is it crazy gusty coming over that row of Australian pines over there. Just nuts.
I then drove north up the equally hectic N2 highway to one of my favorite parks called Mkhuze, beyond the more famous Shishluwe Umfolozi Reserve, and with a very different character to it.
Alright, I drove like the wind today to get here. This is Mkhuze Park Game Reserve in KwaZulu-Natal, and I got a safari tent, number 22. I wish I had food to cook and I just had to grab what I had at the boat. It's a nice little kitchen here and a grill, and, but yeah, just fantastic. So quiet in the bush, birds, there's animals everywhere. And yeah, here's my little setup. And very, very nice. I'm going to have a lovely night here. Mosquito netting, the whole works. Awesome stuff. And look, everywhere, everywhere. Antelope of all sorts of kinds. Love it. The super cool thing about Mkhuze is that there's no fences around the camp. There's no lions. There are supposedly leopards, and even elephants maybe, and rhino, but you can just walk around. I mean, look at these guys. Hi there. But I mean, they're not. They're used to people. They're used to having people walking around here. So it's so cool. Just love this place.
They ask you to stay in your car, but it is not enforced, and there are lots of places you can officially get out. And since my last visit, they have indeed introduced a few lions, and as I would see later, some elephants too.
This is Izumo Pan. They do nice things with the concrete trails here. This is elephant tracks. And, they put lion and kudu and impala and all sorts of other tracks. And anyway, I'm going down to one of the viewpoints on Izumo Pan. It's a huge pan, and right now it's unfortunately overflowing. It's absolutely full. See, this is nice. This little, now probably in Yala or so on tracks. Such a nice touch. And so it's completely full, and that means that there's no wader birds. It's a shame. There's a hippo tracks. So I'm just, oh, here we go. On the dead stump here are anhingas, or snake birds they're called, because when they're in the water, all you see is their long, thin necks, which look like snakes. The body is completely under the water. They won't tolerate us, but they have very interesting hunting habits. They swim underwater with their wings and their feet, and then they stab the fish with their long, sharp bill. And then when they get to the surface, they flip them up into the air and eat them. Actually, I might be wrong about these guys. I think these guys are cormorants. These are not anhingas. Yeah, it's the previous place that had anhingas. Yeah, I got a little bit closer to them. But look at this place. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? Look at this, this fever tree here. These are the beautiful green, light green bark trees that Rudyard Kipling made famous in his poem about the great green, greasy Limpopo River. Look at the lovely setup there, guys. There's a whole picnic area here. A bench to sit on for the sunset. Yeah, I like this place.
Here are the actual anhingas or snakebirds I saw earlier. After watching the sunset over the pan, I drove slowly back to the camp in the growing dark with silhouetted iconic acacia trees and a startled duiker.
Driving back close to the limit here, 7 o'clock's the limit, and there's a pair of nightjars on the road. One just flew. Well, I don't know if they're nightjars, there might be another species, but they're the kind of bird that's out at night. A huge, big mouth. Catching, there it goes. That's really cool.
I walked around the camp that evening in the moonlight, making calls to family and friends, and later under the mosquito net listened to elephants in the camp.
They allow you to start driving early here, and look what I find. Incredibly fresh elephant poop and pee. I mean, it's still liquid running down the road here, and you need to be able to smell it. Look at all the flies on it, and there'll be dung beetles soon. In fact, I'm surprised they're not here already. You see, it's mostly grass and bark and twigs and leaves and a few fruits up on the side here. But look what they did. I think this is a mopani tree. They like them, and yeah, just ripped this branch off, and then it proceeded to eat a whole lot of bits of it. Somebody has moved these branches out, but see how this one, it stripped the bark all the way off that little branch, but the rest of them, it just ate all the twigs, all the nice fresh stuff at the end. And yeah, it just pulled this branch down, no problem. There's all the fruits. I think it's mopani, I'm not sure, I'm not a botanist. Wow, I wish I'd come out last night and seen this, but on the other hand, in the dark, elephants They know what's going on and you don't have a clue, so it wouldn't have been a good idea. I was walking around here last night doing video calls in the moonlight with my friends because there's good cell reception here at the reception center. And then here they stripped the bark off this tree. It's a thorn tree, stripped the bark off and ate it. Very cool. I've missed them crossing the road, but there's 2 dung beetles here with a dung ball. They've gotten themselves stuck in an aloe. Oh, what a shame. Would have been nice to have gotten them. It's going to be hard to see, but there's the beetle and they're already digging a hole for it. Look at this. Digging, digging, digging. And the other one is underneath and they're digging a hole. They're going to bury this dung ball and then lay an egg in it. There they go down into the soil and they dig underneath and then pull the dung ball down. That's almost as good as watching it rolling it down the road. And we have a beautiful sunrise. Just lovely. Still lots of birds calling, but the dawn chorus this morning was really good. Nice.
Back at the yacht club, there was lots of activity, including haul out for Tom on Skyfall and later Gary on Manxman to properly fix his delaminated rudder that he jury-rigged in Chagos Archipelago. The World Ark Fleet, which had prevented me from visiting Reunion, was fast approaching, so it was time to leave, and the next weather window of northeasterly wind would begin the next day. So after a hearty dinner of Eisbein, I hit the sack for an early start on the coastal passage to Durban.